We believe that life is better connected, and our aim is to help our young people find genuine friends and a supportive community. We also think that the best way to navigate this COVID season is by engaging together in smaller groups. We would love to help get them connected in this way by joining one of our Hangout groups. For any questions or further information, just email youth@forgechurch.com or check out the Forge website.
Welcome guys, welcome to Motion Live, welcome back. It's been 2 weeks. I have missed this so much. I'm so glad you're joining us here. A special welcome to you if this is your first time. Also a special welcome to you, those regular people who are here every week. We are so glad that you have joined us. My name is Tim. I'm just going to be walking us through the next 30 minutes together before we head out into our Hangout groups. If you don't know what a Hangout group is, then you'll find out a little bit more later on when I talk to you a little bit about what that is. So yeah, we'll be here for the next 30 minutes. We've got some great things planned over this next short time together. I'm so excited. We've got one new feature which I just cannot wait for you guys to see. It was a lot of fun doing and it's going to be even more fun watching it. So I'm looking forward to that. It's at this point I normally hand over to Karis. I know, Karis is not here. I'm upset that Karis isn't here because I love doing this with Karis. Karis is way better at it than I am. So obviously because of lockdown rules, we haven't asked Karis to come in because that wouldn't be right. As well as the other volunteers that used to help us out sort of backstage. So we've asked them to stay at home as well. But because Karis isn't here, I thought it'd be really good and fitting that we just have a picture of Karis. Isn't that nice? So she's going to be with us. Karis is here. She's not in the box, so don't worry about that. But Karis is with us for the evening. So we miss you, Karis. Can't wait to have you back. Do you know what? Me and Karis have had this really good connection over this last sort of like 5-6 weeks, however. It's kind of like an Ant and Dec sort of vibe going with it, which I've just been really enjoying. So I thought we need to name us. We need to name our sort of connection, our gathering. So I think it should be either Taris or Charim. Taris or Charim. So let us know in the chat. Also, just give us a shout out in the chat and maybe I'll do some shout outs later on. So just let us know. Charis or, no, not Charis. Charim or Taris, whichever one you think, or any other alternative. Any other alternative you think that we should be called. Cool. So yeah, we've got some exciting things planned for you over this next short time. But something we talked about last time is Youth Alpha. We talked about it a little bit, so I just want to show you a little bit what Youth Alpha is before I tell you a little bit more later on. So take a look at this video.
We've all got questions. Why am I here?
What's the point?
What difference does my life make?
Thank you.
Why do things that are so bad for us taste so good?
Hey Siri, do you pray?
I don't have an answer for that.
How can I live life to the full?
What can I really trust?
What's my purpose?
What do you think happens when you die?
You'll go straight to the gulags.
Does anyone hear my prayer?
What's for dinner?
What will make me happy?
Why don't good things last forever?
What is God really like?
Has anyone else even asked themselves these questions?
Hey everyone, I've got an amazing Alpha Online group here.
A better place to ask life's big questions. Ask Alpha.
So yeah, Youth Alpha, it's such a great thing to do. It's one of the things that I'm most excited about that we've ever done here at Motion. It's going to be so good. So get yourself signed up for it. There's different ways you can sign up for it. And the first way is just by emailing me at youth@forgechurch.com, or if you text Forge Youth and then your name to 60777, we will then get in touch with you and let you know all the details. It starts next Tuesday, which I think is the 17th, and it's going to be on Zoom. So this is a great opportunity for you guys, any of you guys that maybe you want to ask some questions that you kind of feel that you've never been able to ask before. This is a great platform to do that. Maybe you kind of want to know why Christians do this singing thing. What is that all about? Why do you do that singing thing in church? Or maybe you kind of want to know where dinosaurs kind of are in this kind of Bible story and where that kind of works out. There must be loads and loads of questions. And maybe you've got a friend that's been asking you those questions over this last few weeks and months and years. Maybe invite them along so you can come along too and invite them. So that would be a great opportunity to do that. Really recommend you sign up for this. So yeah, get in touch with us and we'll give you more information if you need it, but sign up as soon as you can. Okay, so we have got our new feature. This is a great feature. It was filmed pre-lockdown, so don't worry about that. But it's a new feature that I'm so excited to show you. So let's take a look at this.
Hello, and welcome to another game of Knock and Fun.
We have a new game, a challenge for mind, body and spirit. Only the great shall prevail. What's it called, I hear you ask?
Knock and Fun! Knock and Fun! You have to watch closely because we might show up with a camera and a host to wishing you luck. We'll come knocking with our theme tune rocking 'cause it's time to play. Knock and Fun. I'll assume there are two of you there.
Isaac.
Here they are. Yes, there are.
Right, what's your name and where'd you come from?
I'm Joseph.
I'm Isaac.
And we're from Stowmarket.
Yes! Stowmarket. So, the purpose of Knock and Fun is that you two will be competing in 3 challenges against each other, and the loser has a forfeit.
A bad forfeit. You don't want to lose, trust me. You don't want to lose. So, game number 1.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Knock and Fun! Are you ready for game number 1?
Yes.
You've just got to unravel it as quickly as possible.
When?
Yeah. 3,
2,
1,
go!
Oh, that's clever, no.
Oh, just go for it!
Can't you? Wait, can I just rip it up?
No, you've got to unravel it,
How do I
baby.
rip it?
rip it up if you want. Oh my goodness, this thing's going all over the place. Isaac, look at Isaac's arms. Oh, he's so good at it.
Done.
Knock and Fun.
Right, next challenge, little scavenger hunt in the house. 5 things, you ready?
You've got to go 5 things and then you've got to go and get them.
I'm going to tell you 5 things, so go and you have to get more. A paintbrush.
Yeah,
Right?
that's easy to do.
A spoon.
Okay.
A notebook.
Yeah.
Pillow. And a vegetable.
Go!
He's back.
He's back. Right.
Notebook.
Yeah.
Potato.
Oh, right, yeah. Deal with this one.
Spoon.
Yeah.
Paintbrush.
Yeah.
Pillow.
Oh, fun! Karis, can we have 30 seconds, please?
Yeah, 30 seconds.
You've got to eat as much of that apple as possible in 30 seconds.
You ready?
You ready? Knock and Fun! You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Oh my goodness, that is such a massive bite.
Go on, guys.
Isaac's trying to hide it.
Right.
He's eaten. I think he's had about a third of the apple in one bite, but he can't swallow it.
You're halfway there. You're
Isaac's
halfway there.
You're halfway through it. Oh my goodness. That is outstanding. I'm not I mean, that's pretty tight, but I think Isaac has nicked it. I think.
To be fair, he's still got. Actually,
They've both got mouthfuls. Like it's irrelevant. I think.
half of it's on the floor.
Knocking fun. So Isaac, congratulations. How do you feel?
Wait, you might want to not stand in the house.
He will be after this.
And unfortunately, Joe, as you did lose, you'll forfeit. Are you ready, Isaac? 3, 2, 1.
Don't slap it.
I know it's the best way to do it.
It's a little. Don't no, because that's gonna hurt. So slowly.
And that wraps up another game of Knock and Fun.
We have a new game. A challenge for the mind, body and spirit. Only the great shall prevail. What's it called, I hear you ask?
Nothing fun. Nothing fun. You have to watch closely because we might show up with a camera and a host to wishing you luck. We'll come knocking with a theme tune rocking 'cause it's time to play. Knocking fun.
Honestly, that was so much fun filming in it, and I've watched that about 5 times since I've finished editing it, and I laugh every single time. It was a lot of fun doing that. Do you know what? One thing as well, I don't apologise. Actually, I kind of apologise. That theme tune, I promise you, will be stuck in your head forever. I've heard it, like I say, a few times this week. And about 4 o'clock the other morning, I was awake for some reason, you know, like you do, and I just couldn't get that theme tune out of my head. So, yeah, I apologise in advance if that is you over these next few days. So we're going to be having Knock and Fun as a feature over these next few weeks, and some of you guys will be appearing, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to some of those. Honestly, that was probably one of the best ones, so I was like, we've got to start good. That was good. So, let's have a look, see who is watching. So we've got loads of you saying hello. I've got too many people to say hello to. So Karis is watching. Hello, Karis. We've got Teddy's watching. We've got Eliza. We've got Xanthi. We've got Leah. Leah, it's your birthday today as well. So happy birthday to you, Leah. Fenning is watching. Buzzing for tonight, Sam is saying. Amy Pointer, Mia Walsh. Karis has kind of said something because of the picture. Now, I'm going to have to apologise. So, Amy has, quite rightly pointed out that's what's happened to Karis's face. So you might be able to see it. Karis's face has been defaced. Now, in the chat, Karis blames me for that. Now, I understand why you might want to blame me for that. However, if I told you that Ben Lasky was also in the room, then that kind of leads you to kind of think, who was it? Let's just face it. We all know. So the name. So we've got a lot of people saying Karim. The Westmacots have got a Charistium. I don't know how that kind of works. I love another one. I think it comes from the Walshes, but I'll just double check. And I think it was Spornock or Sparnock. So that's just the play on the surname. So yeah, I like that. A lot of people saying how gross Isaac's mouth was when he was spitting out all of that apple. It was pretty bad. A lot of love going on. So welcome everybody who's watching. Thanks for joining in as usual. We love the fact that you've got so many people watching. So yes, okay. We have got our new series that we're going to show you now. So it's a new series called It's Personal. So let's take a look at that, and then we've got some music from the team as well. So let's take a look at our talk.
A few weeks ago, I had one of those awkward moments. You know, one of those moments that you just want the ground to swallow you up to hide your embarrassment. I was out having a coffee with a friend and suddenly someone else I knew came into the coffee shop. We both gave each other that look, you know the one I'm talking about, when you just raise your eyebrows to acknowledge that you've both seen each other. Well, for my friend, this guy, he just wasn't satisfied with this eyebrow raise. You know, he wandered over to say hi and catch up, which was really nice. My wife, Becky, always moans at me for not introducing her to people I know that we meet when we go out places. So I made sure I didn't miss the opportunity to introduce my two friends that didn't know each other. Things were going well until the most awkward thing ever happened. I totally forgot the name of the friend who just came over to say hi. It was so awkward and I didn't know what to say apart from ground, please swallow me up. I'm sure it's happened to you at some point. You know, either you're the person like me who forgot the name of a friend, or maybe you were savagely on the receiving end of a shocking act of friendship. Maybe you thought you were close with somebody and then you figured out your friendship or relationship wasn't as deep as you thought it was. It's not a great feeling because deep down, I think we all live with this expectation. Relationships shouldn't be fake. They shouldn't be shallow and they shouldn't make you feel like you could spend a huge amount of time with someone and then be easily forgotten. Regardless of whether or not you are a really social person, I think we'd all agree that when it comes to our relationships with our friends or people that we spend a lot of time with, we want real ones and not fake ones. I don't want fake friends who feel like they have to pretend to be something else around me, or who don't care as much as they act like they do, or don't even really know me. Whether it's the people you hang out with from your band, your teammates, or the people that you're in a group chat with, we all want more than that. In a word, we want our relationships to be personal. Nobody wants a fake friend or fake relationships, but you know what the opposite of fake is? Real. I totally agree. When it comes to sunglasses, art, or anything else we buy on Wish.com, the opposite of fake is real. But when it comes to relationships, I think there's a better word. Actually, I know that there's a better word. When it comes to people, the opposite of real is personal. Think about it. Somebody can be real without knowing you personally. Being personal puts somebody in a whole different category. And that's what this series is all about. If I ask you to name everyone you can think of who knows your name, how many names do you think would be on that list? And I also wonder, if you did make that list, would you put God on it? Here's the thing. Some of you may have grown up hearing that God knows your name. There are a bunch of examples in the Bible about how God knows us closely. Like when Jesus said this, "Indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered." Seriously, that is getting pretty personal. While I might think, it's a little bit strange to know how many hairs are on our heads, some of us struggle with the idea of God really knowing us. Maybe you feel like, does God really know me? Or is he more like that football coach that just says, "Hey, buddy," for 4 straight years? But there can be a lot of reasons why you feel that way about God. You might feel like he doesn't seem personal because you can't see God and you can't hear him talk back to you when you do try and pray. Or maybe you don't really know much about God or even care much about God. So it feels strange to think that he'd know your name and care about you. Maybe you've met Christians who don't seem to care about getting to know you. So why would God? Maybe you think he doesn't seem personal because if he's real, if he's just so big, if he created everything, what makes us so important that he would know us personally and individually? I mean, let's pretend that we all believe in a God who created everything. Are we to believe that that God knows my name? Well, I think these are actually some real and understandable reasons. I believe that he does. I believe that he cares for me and for you. I believe that he knows not just my name, but he knows your name as well. And here's why I think that. Fakeness is literally the opposite of how Jesus lived. He got personal with basically everyone he met. He knew their names and he knew their stories. One of those people who Jesus interacted with that helps me believe that God is personal God, who knows our names, is a guy named Zacchaeus. We'll be talking about Zacchaeus for the next few weeks. So to give us a little bit of a head start, Zacchaeus was a tax collector. which might not seem like a huge deal in our culture, but back then tax collectors were basically considered scammers and traitors. First off, Zacchaeus was a Jewish guy working for the Roman Empire, an entire nation that basically bullied the Jewish people. That's bad enough, but tax collectors weren't exactly stand-up guys either. They'd always collect more money than they actually owned, and they pocketed the rest for themselves. And this guy was a chief tax collector. Not good. The worst of the worst. So at this point in Jesus' life, he had gone from being a casual carpenter's son to being a big deal. He was known for all these miracles he performed and powerful messages he'd given. By this point, basically everywhere he went, crowds would gather to try and get a glimpse of this rabbi, Jesus, who was able to heal people. That's what happened when he was passing through the town of Jericho and met this guy named Zacchaeus. Here's how the interaction is recorded by a guy called Luke. When Jesus came by, he looked at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. Let's break this down a little bit. Out of this giant crowd following Jesus to Jerusalem and the giant crowd of people in Jericho just trying to get a peek of Jesus as he passes through, Jesus stops and chats with Zacchaeus, maybe the most hated man in the whole town. Getting this kind of attention from Jesus is crazier than your favourite celebrity randomly starting following you on Instagram and commenting on all of your pictures. Not only did Jesus call out the guy who was watching from the tree, but did you notice something? Jesus calls him by name. He didn't say, "Hey, big guy," or "Hey, you." He called Zacchaeus by name. Then, not only does Jesus call him by name, but Jesus invites himself over to Zacchaeus' house. Everyone else knows how much of an honour this is, and look how they respond. He has gone to the guest of the notorious sinner. They grumbled. Okay, maybe you wouldn't use the word grumbled, but basically, they were being haters. This was a guy that they didn't like, maybe nobody liked. Nobody would have wanted to be seen hanging out with him, and yet Jesus goes straight towards him. This isn't just a story about Zacchaeus, it's about Jesus and how he treats people. He paid attention to the guy on the sidelines, the guy who annoyed everyone, the guy nobody was noticing, the guy I bet nobody cared to try and learn his name, the guy that Jesus made sure know and use his name. And by the way, he does the same for you. Jesus knows your name too. Yes, he is the God that created the whole universe and everything in it. Yes, he is the God who has always been around and our brain can't even comprehend that. He also knows you personally. Okay, all of this might feel a little bit ridiculous to you, but maybe the whole idea of faith feels crazy and a little far-fetched. Like Zacchaeus, the best thing for some of us to do this week is to find a way to see what Jesus is like. Zacchaeus probably had no intention of totally changing his life when he first got up that tree, but he was taking the first step towards seeing Jesus for himself. No matter what you think about God or faith or Christians, I want you to know this. It's personal because Jesus knows your name. For some people, that doesn't always sit well. You might have questions or doubts about that, and that's okay. But what would it look like if you hopped up on that tree to get a better look, to rethink or reimagine what God is like, to start asking some of those questions that you might have? Maybe those questions might sound like this. What is God like, really? What does God say about me? What does God say about the people around me? If you have these types of questions, we would love you to sign up for our Youth Alpha, which starts next week. Alpha is a safe place to ask any of those questions that you have about God, and we would love to see you there. If you'd like more information about this, please email me at youth@forgechurch.com. Basically, Jesus changed the way everybody thought about God. There is just something that happens when we recognise that this God of the universe is a personal God. It changed Zacchaeus' life. It's already changed the lives of so many others. And it doesn't stop there. We've talked about how powerful it is to be known personally by God. That he knows your name, he knows you, and he cares about you. But if that's true for you, that's also true for the person next to you, your siblings, your parents, that kid at school that you avoid, or that teacher that you can't stand. Here's what I'm getting at. A relationship with Jesus is always personal. It's personal for you and for me. So let me ask, how can we make it personal for others? You see, the people around you may not know God cares about them personally until you care about them personally. The best way to do that is by doing these easy steps. Number 1, learn their names. Number 2, learn the right way to pronounce their names. You know how annoying it is when the person in Starbucks writes your name in a completely different way. Use their names when you see them. I get it. It seems so basic, but that's why it's a big deal. Knowing someone's name is the absolute simplest thing that we can do to communicate that we matter and that they matter. And if someone feels like they don't matter, it can also have a huge impact. We have a personal God. He also happens to be a personal God who is also mind-blowingly powerful, ridiculously creative, and overly graceful. But he still knows your name and he calls you by it. One of the greatest ways that we can point people to this kind of personal God is by modelling what it looks like to be personal with others. That's why we have our hangout groups. We believe that every person here is loved and known personally by Jesus, and because of that, we want you to always have a group of people who you know personally too. Jesus always made it personal with the people around him, and you can do it too by simply knowing their names.
Strangers, neighbors.
Yeah, I know for some of you, maybe the idea of this God being personal, this amazing God that has done so much, this amazing God that is so powerful and so wonderful, wants to have a personal relationship with you. And that's hard for you to understand. And if that's you tonight, if you really struggle to understand that, I definitely encourage you to sign up to our Youth Alpha. I'm just going to pray for us tonight. Lord, I just want to thank you that you are an amazing God, a powerful God. But not only that, God, that you want to have a personal relationship with us. You love us. You care about us. You know our name. I thank you that you are that God. You are that God that cares that so much about us. Lord, maybe for some of us we struggle with that. I pray that you'll help us almost have that light bulb moment where we really understand for the first time that you want that you want to know us personally, that you want us to want that relationship with you too, Lord. And Lord, I really pray that throughout this week that you'll help us to remind us of that. Remind us of who you are. Remind us of your greatness, but also remind us that you want to know us and you want us to get to know you. Thank you, God. Thank you for who you are. I also pray that you'll help us to show other people the true God that you are. Help us to show your kind of love, your kind of worth, give other people that kind of worth that you give us, Lord. I pray these things in your name. Amen. Great, guys. So, we're through and we're now going to head out into our hangout groups. So for those that don't know about our hangout groups happen straight after this. And it's a chance to kind of go a little bit deeper, think a little bit deeper, talk a little bit deeper with some guys that are kind of your age, with some leaders as well. If you head over to our Instagram page, there's a link on there to our website, which gives you all the information you need about the different hangout groups and a link for you to sign up to them as well. So I really recommend you do that. Don't forget to sign up this week for our Youth Alpha. Text your Forge Youth, your name to 6007 and email youth@forgechurch.com. We will see you again here next week. See you next week.